In the fast-paced, spotlight-filled world of South Korean entertainment, where almost everything is expected to be shared with the public, there is one kind of friendship that feels all the warmer precisely because of how simple it is. Not loudly announced, not excessively displayed, but still undeniably real. That is the impression that once again emerges from the relationship between Kim Taehyung and Park Seo-joon. Two close friends who never seem to need many words to show that they still remain close. Recently, fans once again found themselves smiling over a series of small clues from the two of them. Not a selfie together with a long caption, not a dramatic post deliberately confirming a hangout, but rather little fragments from Instagram posts that somehow felt even sweeter when pieced together. Taehyung shared moments from his day, Park Seo-joon uploaded snapshots of his own routine, and fans carefully began finding possible threads connecting the two. From the same restaurant, to familiar-looking food photos, to golf-related activities posted around similar times. It all seemed to become Taehyung and Seo-joon's own language of friendship. Calm, relaxed, not overly talkative, yet enough for those paying attention to know that their bond is still going strong behind the scenes. The latest moment that sparked discussion began when Taehyung shared several snapshots of his daily life on Instagram. Among the various uploads, one detail immediately caught fans' attention, a menu card from Botanic Garden in Gangneung. At first glance, it may have looked like nothing more than ordinary documentation of a restaurant visit. But for fans already used to reading the codes of their favorite idols and actors, the post felt like more than just a photo of food or a dinner setting. The restaurant is known for its rather personal concept, where each dish is introduced with a particular story or narrative. One of the dishes Taehyung shared was said to feature the chef's story about his grandmother. And many fans felt that Taehyung posted that part because he was genuinely moved by the story behind the dish. At that point, Taehyung's upload could still be seen as an ordinary personal moment. But the story became more interesting when fans realized that Park Seo-joon had also recently posted an Instagram update that seemed to overlap with Taehyung's. Seo-joon shared several photos, and one of them showed a dining atmosphere that many fans suspected came from the same restaurant, Botanic Garden. It didn't stop there, Taehyung was also known to have liked that post. For some people, that might seem like a tiny detail. But for fans who have followed the dynamics of their friendship for a long time, details like these feel like the most honest kind of proof. What has always made Taehyung and Park Seo-joon's relationship so interesting to watch is the way they never truly sell their friendship to the public. Yet they also do not hide it completely. They seem to exist somewhere in the middle, open enough to let fans catch glimpses of their interactions, but still careful to protect their private space. As a result, every small clue feels more meaningful. One like, one shared restaurant, one moment posted around the same time, all of it can become a warm topic of discussion among fans. Not because fans want to intrude on their private lives, but because there is a certain comfort in seeing two people, busy in their own worlds, still maintain a bond that appears sincere. Taehyung and Park Seo-joon's friendship has long been one of the most beloved celebrity friendships in the public eye, especially because both of them are part of the Wooga Squad. This friendship circle is known to include Park Seo-joon, Choi Woo-shik, Park Hyung-sik, Peak Boy, and Taehyung. Ever since the name Wooga Squad became widely recognized, fans have always loved the warm energy they show, supporting each other's projects, making time for trips together, and occasionally sharing moments that feel natural and unforced. Among all the members, the closeness between Taehyung and Park Seo-joon has its own special appeal. Perhaps it is because they come from slightly different worlds, Taehyung as a global idol and Seo-joon as a top actor, yet they still look incredibly natural together. What is unique is that their chemistry is not built through excessive exposure. Quite the opposite, their friendship feels strong because the public knows there are far more moments that remain unshared than those that are posted. Fans only see small fragments, and it is precisely those fragments that make their relationship feel real. In today's social media era, many people are used to seeing friendships packaged through joint posts, funny videos, or long captions explaining closeness. Taehyung and Park Seo-joon seem to have chosen a different route. They do not have to constantly appear together on each other's feeds to convince anyone that they are still close. Sometimes, it is that very lack of overexposure that makes their bond appear more mature and genuine. As if the restaurant clue was not enough, fans once again found another possible connection through the two stars' golf activities. Taehyung recently shared photos of himself playing golf, something that has become increasingly associated with some of his more relaxed moments lately. On the other hand, Park Seo-joon also posted golf-related content, including attending a golf event in Busan. Of course, there has been no confirmation whatsoever that they played together. No caption explained it, no photo of the two of them on the course was shared, and there was no direct statement. But that is exactly where the familiar feel of their friendship appears again. Fans began wondering, could the two of them also have visited Asian Games Country Club together? Could there have been another hangout they intentionally chose not to show? The real answer may only be known to them and their inner circle. But for fans, the question itself is already enjoyable enough. There is a kind of simple happiness in realizing that Taehyung and Seo-joon may still be making time for one another amid their busy schedules. Not because the public needs validation, but because there is something warm about seeing a friendship survive through such hectic phases of life. Taehyung is part of BTS, a group whose activities draw worldwide attention. Park Seo-joon, meanwhile, has a steady acting career, one project after another, and an equally demanding schedule. Under those circumstances, maintaining a friendship is certainly not automatically easy. That is why, whenever fans find small signs that the two are still orbiting each other's lives, the reaction is always sweet. Happiness, relief, and a quiet sense of being touched. This phenomenon of reading the puzzle from Taehyung and Park Seo-joon's posts also highlights something interesting about celebrity-fan relationships in the current era. Fans do not always wait for big confessions or official content. Sometimes what they enjoy most are the tiny details that feel personal, a restaurant background, the same menu, a like on a post, or uploads posted around the same time. All of that creates a more intimate experience. As though fans are being invited to piece together a small puzzle from the lives of two friends who choose to remain low-key. And because those clues never feel forced, fans' responses also tend to be warm rather than excessive. It is less about making a huge fuss and more about a satisfied smile that says, "Oh, they're still there for each other." There is a reason why this style of friendship is so beloved. In many ways, Taehyung and Park Seo-joon represent a kind of bond that feels deeply mature. They do not need to constantly prove their closeness in public. They do not turn friendship into a performance. They simply live in their own rhythms, meet when they can, support one another, and occasionally leave behind little traces that only people paying attention will understand. Precisely because it does not feel manufactured, everything about it seems more sincere. There is comfort in knowing that not everything needs to be explained. There is warmth in realizing that some relationships are most beautiful when they quietly continue behind the scenes. For longtime Wooga Squad fans, this dynamic is certainly nothing new. Since the beginning, the friendship group has been known for the same habit. They are not always loud on social media, but every now and then they appear with little surprises that instantly excite fans. Sometimes through vacation photos, sometimes through a brief mention, sometimes through stories shared in programs or interviews. And now, the same pattern seems to be repeating itself with Taehyung and Park Seo-joon. The difference is that this time, the clues come in an even subtler form. There is no declaration of any kind, just a series of posts that, when looked at more closely, feel like a quiet conversation happening in public. Interestingly, This style also shows how Taehyung and Park Seo-joon seem to equally value the boundary between public life and private life. As famous figures, they obviously know that whatever they upload will be analyzed, discussed, and spread quickly. Yet rather than shutting themselves off entirely, they still choose to share small parts of their lives, enough to greet fans. Enough to share a mood, but not so much that they lose their personal space. In the context of friendship, that makes every captured moment feel far more special. When fans successfully find a connection between their posts, it feels almost like being granted access to a tiny piece of warmth they usually keep to themselves. In the end, perhaps that is what makes Taehyung and Park Seo-joon's friendship so comforting to follow. It is not a loud friendship, not one that constantly exists in the form of major content, but rather a bond that continues consistently in between busy schedules, still alive even when not always visible, and occasionally reappearing through little clues that make fans smile to themselves. The same restaurant, a like on a post, a golf moment that sparks speculation, all of it may seem trivial on the surface. But through those little things, fans see something much bigger. Proof that their friendship is still there, still warm, and still going strong, even when cameras are not pointed at them together. And perhaps that is exactly why Taehyung and Park Seo-joon's relationship feels so special. In the middle of a culture of instant sharing, they show that closeness does not always have to be loudly announced. Sometimes, the strongest friendships are the ones that endure without much explanation, visible only through the little traces they leave behind. Felt through the way two people continue to remain present in each other's lives, even from afar. For fans, the little puzzle hidden in their posts is not just enjoyable speculation. It is a gentle reminder that behind the massive spotlight of the entertainment world, there are still sincere relationships being quietly cared for. And for Taehyung and Park Seo-joon, it is precisely that quietness that makes their friendship feel even warmer, more unique, and impossible not to notice.